Thank you so much for coming, Dolly Auntie. I know you're busy. You skipped your workout today, so that's a big deal. Thank you so much for coming.
It's not a big deal, but it's okay. I did work out yesterday.
Exactly.
Thank you for having me, Manav. I remember seeing you so little. We were having a physiotherapy, Mathi, Dr. Amirka.
Yes, I remember.
Then I saw you at the pump, and I was like, so always impressed by you. And today I'm here in front of you.
Thank you so much.
Doing this is like amazing, very impressive.
It means a lot to me, and I mean, when I did my research and learned about you, I knew that you've been through a lot. So those kind of compliments coming from someone like you, it means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Baba.
I wanted to start off by talking about your modeling career, right? Because that was your initial rise to fame. It was an infamous YY commercial, right? What is the story behind that? How did that happen?
YY. Okay, YY is something that I just did when I was young, of your age, most probably, 16, 17. It just happened. I was actually, young. At the same time, I was very lost. And because my mom passed away just a year ago, around that time. So I didn't know what I was doing. So Prem Upadhyay Daile Malai, I was, I think, cycling. And he spotted me and he asked me, do you want to model? Something like that. Are you interested to do a modeling? Modeling? म केटा जस्तै थिएँ खास गरी एकदम यसरी केटा जस्तै हिँड्थेँ केटा जस्तै उतै गर्थेँ कसेर रिस उठ्यो So I was not a model figure, but I said, why not? Let me try. हुन्छ भनेर मैले हुन्छ भने. So, and then that just happened that the commercial around that time, 80s, it did so well because it was something very new. Although there was quite a lot of commercials like, sabun ko, chappal ko, all that, luga dhune, this type of commercials. This was very modern, So I was, Prem Upadhyay, he's the main guy. He actually just came back from London. वहाँ पढेर आउनु भएको थियो अनि उहाँले स्पट गर्नुभयो उहाँले सोध्नुभयो and then ad गर्ने साथ I left the country. I was not there. So मैले कहिले पनि हेर्न पाएन त्यो ad त्यति बेला.
Were you aware that you were the first female model doing something like this? At the time, were you aware?
I think there were quite a lot. There were quite few of them around that time. I feel that, त्यति बेला सबैले भन्छ first model. Maybe the first, the commercial that came out was completely different. It was so different, very modernized. It was done in a very, it reminds me of मेरो लुगाहरू लगाउँदाखेरि चाहिँ अहिले यसो हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो Footloose-को, बेलाको जेनिफर बिल्सहरू मैले हेर्थेँ. I was inspired by them, त्यो किसिमको थियो लुगाहरू मैले आफ्नै लुगा लगाएको थिएँ most of it अनि few एउटा दुईटा दिनु पनि भएको थियो कि I'm not sure. So I don't consider myself the first model, but I think around त्यति बेलाको चाहिँ modeling भनौँ या commercial भनौँ, it was one or two that came out nice.
It was just a bit more modern, right? Yeah, exactly. But it's not like you were the first model.
No.
So then how do you feel when people give you that title? I mean, when I was doing the research, that's what comes up, How do you feel about that?
I'm nothing proud about that. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
It's not great. Yeah.
When you went into that shoot for YY, right? What were your initial expectations as a 16, 17-year-old?
No
You're
expectation.
Young. You had this big dream.
No.
This okay. You just wanted to go.
No expectation. I told you, I was like a tomboy, The modeling गर्ने भने त सोचेको पनि थिएन. In fact, मलाई त्यति बेला people used to come to me and say, oh, you look like Phoebe Cates, you look like Brooke Shield, or even Padmini Kolhapuri. It never really, I was not, I don't know how to say it. I'm quite presentable. I put on a little makeup. I do my hair. I'm nearing 60 and I take care of myself. But त्यति बेला त nothing. भने नि मैले आई वाज लाइक अ टोम बोय म केटा जस्तै थिएँ पढ्यो भने कसले छुट्टी पनि दिन्थ्यो होला केटाहरू पछाडि पढेर केही गर्यो भने आई वाज लाइक रेडी टु द्याट टाइप सो नो वान डेयर टु कम नियर मी सो अनि त्यो मोडलिङको त्यस्तो भने त मलाई त्यो उति नै थिएन इट्स जस्ट द्याट ही केम टु मी ही आस्क्ड मी and I did it and I have no regrets. I'm glad I did it. It was something very, people know me as YY girl, but it's not something that oh my God, I'm so proud.
China.
I'm grateful that I did it around that time. That's the only thing that I did in Nepal was the YY ad.
Media plays it plays a big part in who people think you are, right? And the media really upplays that ad as who you are, right? But it sounds like there's so much more to you than just that one YY ad as a 17-year-old girl, right? What, if you look at it now, right, and what the media, all that the media has said about you, right, what do you want people to know you for?
Well, media le ta malai ta mareko pani थियो नि I was dead. I was a drug addict. Do you believe around that time, बरु अहिले म बिहा गरेर 3टा बच्चा भएर I would probably, hey, let me try this cigarette भन्थ्यो होला हैन or let me have this a sip of drink. म केही खादिन थिए.
Oh my God.
So even in Philippines, I was in Philippines, हैन people used to have, I was a PR manager, I was a disc jockey in a place called Faces. It was a very renowned place. People every table ma they used to put a Perrier and they used to call me Miss Perrier.
Oh, what's the Perrier?
Forget Perrier water, the sparkling
okay.
water.
Sparkling water, okay.
त्यो मात्र खान्थे मैले सबैले मलाई त्यो राख्थे हैन अब त्यति बेला मैले सुनेको अनुसार चाहिँ म ड्रग एडिक्ट रे है म पोलिटिशियनको ल्यापमा राखेर मैले कार्टुन बनाएको रे आई डोन्ट नो हु द हेल द्याट गाई इज आई हेभ नेभर मेट हिम बिकज आई लेफ्ट एज सुन एज आई डिड माई वाई मेरो त मम बित्नु भयो आई वाज हार्ट ब्रोकन बिकज अफ माई मम पास्ट अवे बिकज अफ हर क्यान्सर आई टुक केयर अफ हर आई वेन्ट थ्रु अ लट लुकिङ आफ्टर माई मम एन्ड आई कुडन्ट रियली go on studying and all that because I had to do all the hardship. Anyway, so what I was in Philippines, I keep going back to Philippines. I have so many friends in there. People know me there. So it hurts me, but it's okay. यहाँ बिचारा कति innocent मान्छेहरूलाई पनि त त्यसै त गरिरहेको छ हैन it's just the thing मैले त केही त गरेको हैन
and people just spin it out of control. Exactly. What made you initially move to Philippines?
Okay, so I really wanted a break. I really wanted to go away from Nepal. I didn't want to live here anymore because my mom passed away, whom I was very close to, and my dad is a very simple man, he's an ex-army, British Army man. And I had my 3 brothers. One brother was away and the brother was just married. And then my younger brother was there. So I just needed a break. And I actually went to Hong Kong and I got to act in a movie. It's a joint venture movie. And as they said, they were shooting in Philippines.
This was in Hong Kong.
No, Philippines.
Philippines, shoot. Okay.
So Philippines ma goe, and then I just didn't want to come back. And I met the right people at the right time. So a lot of people मैले भेटेकोहरु चाहिँ उहाँहरुले चाहिँ especially एउटा husband and wife couple थियो उहाँहरुले चाहिँ they wanted me to stay there and they wanted me to do a modeling.
Okay.
So, but I did not do straight away modeling. I did a TV sitcom called Chica Chica Chicks.
Oh,
it was
wow.
number 2 at that time. Then I did. Then I was a DJ.
What was the transition like from modeling in a YY commercial to like acting in a sitcom?
I don't think there's any transition because I only did that commercial that, but then in Philippines, I did quite a lot. Like I became famous because I was a DJ, and I used to be in the nightclub called Faces. And then they offer me to come out in a magazine that's Era magazine. So Mr. and Mrs. This is so funny. Mr. and Mrs. It's the name of the magazine. So Mr. they will choose you probably. Mrs. they will choose someone famous. हैन दुईटा famous राख्ने के नेपाली आयो student Dolly is married, Mr. and Mrs. अनि त्यो magazine पनि फेरि यहाँनिर मलाई त केही थाहा छैन मेरो फ्यामिलीले भनेर मात्रै सबै चिज थाहा हुने मलाई त केही थाहै छैन के भइरहेछ भनेर।
What's it like? I mean, you're in the Philippines and you're a disc jockey. You're kind of getting your career started, right? Because you moved out. You're
I
kind
was
of
going with the flow.
this free person that can do whatever she wants, Khalgo, and then you get this call from like your brothers or your dad, like
that's later
look,
on,
look at the media, like what, like how do you deal
So
with
what
that?
they did was, there was this magazine called Kamana. I don't know if you know Kamana magazine. I am so grateful to them. I think उहाँहरू नारी नारी म्यागजिन भयो होला त्यसपछि होइन अहिलेको चलेको चाहिँ नारी हो उहाँहरूले त्यो त्यति बेला त्यो भिडियो सिडियो कहाँ थियो त उहाँहरूले फोनमा इन्टरभ्यू लिनुभयो मेरो फ्यामिलीसँग अनि सो त्यो म्यागजिन मेरोमा आएको थियो कि इट वाज लाइक मनोहर कहानिया भन्ने एउटा त्यो पहिला पहिला म्यागजिन थियो कि द्याट इज अल अबाउट मर्डर केसेस एन्ड दिस एन्ड द्याट होइन सो द्याट रिमाइन्डेड मी द्याट म्यागजिन रिमाइन्डेड मी द्याट सो दे वर राइटिङ अबाउट मी एन्ड देन मेरो बाबाको फोटो मेरो ड्याडको फोटो मेरो ब्रदर्सको फोटो होइन मेरो फोटो त्यसरी दे रोट द रियल स्टोरी द्याट सी इज नट डेड सी इज इन फिलिपिन्स सी इज डुइङ सो एन्ड सी इज ह्याप्पी.
Did you know that you were famous back home when you were in Philippines?
I didn't know.
So then that's probably why people cared, right? They were like, this person made a YY commercial, they became super famous, and then they just disappeared. I know. But nobody, at the time, was the commercial released before you went to the Philippines?
No,
so
this is after.
So you just disappeared into the Philippines, living your best life, and then people over here don't know where you
like
are.
मेरो सासू, my mother-in-law, my husband's mother, यसरी टिभी हेर्थ्यो अरे अनि हेत्तेरिका यस्तो राम्रो केटी मर्यो भन्छ अनि can you imagine people believe that?
I mean,
there's no such thing.
It's sad to say, but like the media is like it can be a really good tool, but it can also be a very
negative,
dangerous tool, right? Like in the sense that some media is all about trying to sell the best story,
exactly.
and sometimes selling that best story, other things are compromised, right?
Yeah, they it's a false thing. Okay, fake news halera banara. They want to be popular, I guess. That's what it is. Still going on now.
Do you think that was like the biggest challenge you faced in the Philippines? Because although you were living your best life as a disc jockey, actor, model,
it didn't bother me.
It didn't bother you.
I'm a bindas person. I don't give a shit. Nothing bothers me. I am the way I am. This is how I am.
So then what would you say was the biggest challenge moving away from home at such a young age for the first time?
Biggest challenge Vandavani Babu, you know what I did was I found the right people, right family. Malai त्यो फिलै भएन कि म एक्लो छु अब आई निड टु सर्भाइभ इन दिस वर्ल्ड भन्ने मलाई पटक्कै त्यो फिलिङ भएन म त कस्तो मजाले घर लिएको थिएँ घरमा बसेको थिएँ इनफ्याक्ट मेरो साथीहरू जुन थियो उनीहरूको मम आई थिङ्क आई अलवेज निडेड द्याट मम आमा सो उनीहरूको ममहरू मेरो साथी हुने कि मेरो साथीले जाउँ हिरो डली अब लेट्स गो पार्टी भन्ने मैले नै आई रादर सिट डाउन एन्ड टक विथ योर मम भनेर उनीहरूसँग बसेर म गफ गरेर बस्नु मन लाग्ने कि मलाई घरमा म अहिले पनि म त्यस्तै किसिमको छु अल्दो यु गाइस सी मी आई लभ टु डान्स द्याट्स अल आई लाइक टु डु इज डान्स सो बट आई लाइक टु सिट डाउन एन्ड टक विथ आई निडेड द्याट mother figure.
That connection.
That
right?
connection, exactly.
What do you think that did for you as a young teenager, and looking at what you went on to achieve later on in life, and having that mother figure who wasn't your mother in the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
What did that do for you in terms of your perspective on the world, in terms of what your purpose was, right? Because at the time, what it sounds like was you felt a bit lost, right? Like your mom just passed away and you wanted to experience, right? There was no real agenda, right? What does having that mother figure, what did that change in you?
A lot. I felt secure, no?
Yeah.
Because usually when you're alone, you're young. They say you're beautiful, which I never really thought in that way. People don't say you're beautiful now, but I look at myself, I find myself beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? त्यति बेला चाहिँ त्यो थिएन तर what I'm trying to say is like people wanted to take advantage, especially in Philippines. मा त के हुन्छ भने you are a model, you become a famous, and it's a lot of people like धनी धनी लोग्ने मान्छेहरू जो बिहा गरेर फ्यामिली भएकोहरू दे लड अफ मेरो मसँग काम गर्नेहरू चाहिँ आई नो के दे ह्याड देयर सुगर ड्याडी आई डोन्ट नो वाट एभर दे कल आई डिन्ट ह्याभ टु लुक फर द्याट बिकज आई ह्याड दोज मदर्स इन मी सो आई फिल सिक्योर अनि सबैले मलाई के भन्थ्यो भने डली तिमी मैले यसरी बााउन्ड्री लगाउँथेँ अरे के इभन इन द क्लबमा पनि यसरी बााउन्ड्री लगाउँथ्यो अरे कोही मान्छेहरू त्यो बााउन्ड्री नै क्रस गर्नु नसक्ने दे फेल्ट द्याट द्याट्स द एनर्जी द्याट आई गेभ रे के द्याट आई डिन्ट वान्ट एनी वान टु क्रस द्याट बााउन्ड्री सो वेन आई थिङ्क अबाउट इट नाउ आई थिङ्क इट्स ट्रु that people were afraid to approach me. मेरो त्यो अलिकति strong character छ के. I'm like, people are scared. People think I'm very, people also think that I'm very strong and ghamandi and all that. Actually, I'm not. I'm very outspoken. I'm very friendly, you know. तर कोही कोही बेला certain time I do that, especially when on my younger days मा चाहिँ I did that, and having that sort of a mother figure, it really helped me.
Like kind of calm that down.
Yeah. Very secure, you know.
Because I think having that kind of personality can be good or bad, because when you're like that, you're secure in yourself. You know that you're very self-sustaining, you're very confident, you kind of want to do it on your own, right? But I think human nature is also like, you need other people, like not like as much as you want to do it on your own, it's always nice to have that help, that motherly or fatherly figure, kind of a mentor just reassuring you, right? Kind of guiding you, because walking in the dark is scary for everyone, right?
Exactly.
Once you kind of felt that reassured security, you kind of almost like a rebirth in the Philippines. What brought you back to Nepal?
That's a very important question. Well, I was based in Philippines, and I was actually traveling quite a lot of places, because when I became a DJ and all that, and I used to, people used to offer me to go to Japan and Korea and all these other places, Malaysia, Singapore, to do all these things that, DJ work, or there are new clubs coming. So I would get an offer or do a magazine shoot, all that, because I did quite a lot of calendars and things like that. Few commercials and few shows like Catwalk and all that, not many. So I got an offer to do those things. So I went to all these places, and I would always come back to Philippines.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, Ke Bhavane Babu, every time more deeper I got into it, I got affected. I don't know how it happened. I became anorexic. And people say, because of the modeling, she wants to look good. And it's not because of that. It's because of maybe because my mom passed away. It's because I went through some trauma. When she passed away, it was very bad, because every time people used to say, "Oh, she's gonna leave soon." Although my mother, now I think about it, there are some cancer patients that I meet now. I'm amazed. In 1 week, I meet them, and 1 week they're gone peacefully. Yeah. But Mero Momko case was not that. Mero Momko case, I think it's because of me and because of what I wanted. I was holding on to her and say, don't go, don't die. Everybody says she's going to die anytime. But she was there for a year and 2 and like that, with morphine, painkiller, and it's just in bed, So because of all that, that's a trauma. And people said she will pass away, and I said no, she will not. So मैले भगवानसँग पनि मेरो मम्मीले त भगवान मान्नुहुन्थ्यो, अनि मैले एक किसिमको त्यो राखे कि लाइक भाकल जस्तै राखे. I don't know what भाकल was around that time. तर मैले I did make a promise to God that if you make my mom okay, I'm going to worship you for the rest of my life. That sort of a thing I did. But the day she passed away, I was all alone with her, So I just called my dad. Dad was downstairs. I think I had just given my dad and my little sister थियो. त्यति बेला उहाँ दुईजना मात्र थियो. मैले खाना दिएर म माथि ममकोमा थियो. बाबा आउनुस् त, आमालाई के भयो न, because her hand went like that के भयो मम, के भयो आमा, के भयो आमा, आमा भन्थे हैन. So and then her hand went like that, and I called my dad. I panicked, and he came, and then I think he was ready. He tried to give her some water, spoonle, and he khulnu sakena. And I think he was ready. So he got a white cloth. I don't know why he did that immediately. That was very shocking.
Yeah.
for me. After that, what happened, Manav, I have no idea because I apparently fainted. I fainted. I did not get to see her funeral, nothing. I was not able to say goodbye to her because every time they say I get up, I was howling. You know, so it was very bad. So thinking of that, and now, and although I was looking happy or this and that, तर मेरो त्यो khanama, like, you know, I became anorexic, and then psychiatrist, made me realize it's because of my traumatic background. So it became so bad that I had to be hospitalized with some crazy people, in Philippines. And then I think after a while, after a few months, I came back home. I was okay, but I was just 45, 48 kilos.
What made you realize that, like, you have to go to the doctor?
Because I was
feel like
hospitalized.
You were, like, did you faint?
No, I was hospitalized because I had nothing in my system, and I was very weak. And I had a boss who really, really loved me, and his wife. They said it's the right thing that for me to go to the hospital. So I was in the hospital. I didn't know I could see crazy people around, but I was not crazy.
After like going through all that you've been through so far, and like with your mom and just facing all that trauma, and then kind of recovering from that, and then coming back to a mental hospital.
Inside, I was not recovering, Resanta. From outside, I looked perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, look at her, blah, blah, this, that, perfect. Tara bhitrabara I was not. So bhitrama chahi it was there. Okay? So that is why I became anorexic. And it became so bad, I was even afraid to drink water, thinking I'm going to get fat. But it has nothing to do with my modeling career.
Yeah.
Doctor made me realize that. So, then I kind of got okay. Then I went to Australia for a while, and then doctor had already told me you should go back to your family. So I went back to my family.
Is that what brought you back to Nepal?
Back to Nepal, and I learned to eat again after I came back to Nepal.
Staying in that hospital with all those crazy people, right? I think when you're recovering from something so traumatic, right, staying in that environment does not help, right? How do you, because you're also trying to recover physically, right? Gain back weight, just learn how to eat again. But as you talked about, there's a big mental aspect to that, right? Of
course, yeah.
And being surrounded in that kind of environment is also not the most helpful when you're battling something mentally, right? How did you deal with that? How did you keep on fighting?
Most of the time I was sedated, like they would give me a medication. I was always hallucinating, and kind of that was what I felt, because I would hear the gunshots and things like that in my head, So अहिले सोच्दाखेरि चाहिँ maybe hallucination भइरहेको थियो because of the heavy dose of medication they had given me. So I would sleep most of the time, but I would hear the gunshots. I would hear someone's coming to kill me, that sort of a thing.
Oh, God.
I don't really talk about this to my children, actually. I haven't even, they'll be shocked to hear this. I don't, I don't talk to them about this. But this is what I felt. अहिले तिमीले मलाई fresh गरिदियो, which I have no regrets, but it's just that with my children, I don't always, I never felt comfortable. They know I suffered from anorexia. But then when I came back here, I started to eat, हेर बाबु. The eating process अहिलेसम्म पनि मेरो गएको छैन. I start to eat, then I start to go to the toilet and let it out. So then it became bulimia.
Yeah.
बुझेरौ? Bulimic भए. त्यसपछि त्यो पनि गयो. After my children, I think I was content with life. I was so satisfied. I was like so happy. I was in 7 heaven with my 3 children. And I just still, now I eat. So I have to exercise a lot because I'm a foodie, So I have to exercise. So this eating thing has always been with me. That your disease, it never went away from my system. I still suffer from it. Now I overeat.
Do you think that reflects like all that you've been through in life, all that you've had to deal with, right? Because like you said,
maybe probably it does, because right now we're going to Korean town. I'm already thinking, oh, tonight I'm gonna eat this, I'm gonna order this, Bhutanese food, finsoko, it's so good.
No, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I think the same
but
way.
it's not nice. You're not going there to eat. You're going there to enjoy the nature. Because I'm a nature lover. I'm a plant lover, and I think of all that. That is my also priority. But I also think about the food is always there.
Yeah.
I always cook at home. I always love to feed people. I am an excellent cook. That I know.
Yeah. In terms of like going back to anorexia, right? I think a lot of people in like the modern, like us as kids, a lot of people face it because of social media or just body standards in general have gone up so high, and because of that, people have that fear of eating. Oh
yeah.
How do you think, with someone who has experienced it firsthand, right? How do you think young people should deal with if they're going through something similar?
Oh, it's not easy, because you need to be in their shoes, हैन? उनीहरूको खुट्टामा उभिएर उनीहरूको जुत्ता लगाएर हेर्नुपर्छ. It's not easy. They think it's very easy. तिमी के भएको यस्तो गरिरहेछ त, यस्तो भइरहेछ त, अब just shake it off and get out of it and come to sense. It's not easy, because it's all got to do with mental. That's why I say, people, when you have a headache, you take a medication. When you have when your leg hurts, you take a medication. Diabetes, take medication. Blood pressure, you take a medication. But for brain, it has mental. Something is wrong with your frequency here, the brain. त्यसलाई पनि त दबाई चाहिन्छ नि, हैन? मान्छेले त्यो बुझ्दैन क्या. त्यतिकै छोडिदिन्छ क्या. We have to understand, and we have to be there for them, saying that I am here for you. You can do it. भनेर slowly हामीले गर्नुपर्छ क्या. हामीले, because it's difficult,
I think people neglect the mental aspect to it, right? And I think these days it's all about like something physical happens, cure, physical happens, cure, right? And then when it gets to the point where that mental becomes physical, that's only when people start to care. But at that point, it's
too late.
It's too late. It's too serious, right? Yeah. And I think mental health is a bit more complicated than physical health, because you can't see it as well. But that doesn't mean it's less important. In fact, I think it's more important.
Yeah, we have to understand what you're going through. Tomorrow I'll meet you in the street and you don't talk to me, hello, auntie, nothing. You will just ignore me.
Yeah.
Then I have to find out what is wrong with him.
Yeah, I think sometimes people take it personally. Like if I weren't to greet you in the street, you might be like, hey, he doesn't like me. Not, like we don't.
But why?
Why? But
I haven't done anything
sometimes
wrong.
There's a deeper reason. That people don't understand, right?
Course.
And then that's when all these physical changes start to happen.
Exactly.
And then, like you said, you get hospitalized and it gets even worse, right?
Yeah, of course.
Once recovering from anorexia, right, and feeling better, eating more, there was probably still trauma inside you.
That trauma will never go away.
That trauma will never go away.
After becoming a mother of 3 children, the trauma, it just continues. It's just because I know I still struggle. My life is not, people think, oh, Dolly, I'm happier. I have a beautiful family. I have amazing in-laws. My mother-in-law is amazing. I have.
Yeah.
God, universe gave that to me. That's why I'm hanging in here. But I do have my, lowest. I hit my lowest point too sometimes. Still.
Do you think you become better at dealing with it?
Of course, I've become much better dealing with it.
How do you deal with it? What? There
was a time, if I'm angry at my husband, I'm angry, अहिले चाहिँ I'm angry, it's coming. So I so many times I control it. There was a time before I couldn't control. I was like, angry. I would just get angry, because I'm also very strong-headed. I'm a very person of my own. Okay, मलाई कसैले यसरी दबाएर पनि राख्न सक्दैन कि मेरो क्यारेक्टर नै त्यस्तो छ अनि एट द सेम टाइम म पनि कसैलाई दबाएर राख्नु मन लाग्दैन मेरो चिल्ड्रेनहरूलाई आई हेभ गिभन देम अल द फ्रिडम द्याट दे वान्ट दे क्यान डु वाट एभर दे वान्ट बिकज आई नो आई हेभ रेज देम राइट दे विल डु द राइट थिङ दे आर नट गन डु आई एम ओन्ली दे आर नट हियर दे आर अवे फ्रम अस only I worry about them is I always pray to universe, please protect them, keep them happy. That's it. Because I trust my children. You know, they are very good kids. I've raised them right. So that's the kind of person. I don't want anybody telling me don't do this, don't do that. I am a person of my own. I have my own interests. You know,
because I think when you raise your kids, it sounds like there was a big emphasis on freedom and kind of be who you want to be, not who I want you to be, who Nirakar uncle wants you to be, who your grandparents want you to be. You be who you want to be, right? Why is that important? Because I think it's important as well, but I think there are different reasons for why it can be important, right?
Tomorrow you tell them, my older son, for instance, he's a science math student. Costa Rica ma timi jastै UWC ma पढ्यो तिमी त पढिरहेछौ and he topped it actually. So he's supposed to go to US and get scholarship in any good university. He got it also. He didn't want. He said, Mama, I'm going to Netherlands for my music. So he took classical music, classical piano. I mean, we gave him that freedom, you know, and they are blessed kids that they. So after him, my daughter wanted to do the same thing. She also went for music in Netherlands. After that, again, my young one, again, he also said he wanted to go to music. So I was a little disappointed because they're such a good artist too, like paint, you know. So all three of them, they're very good. At least एकजना त artist भए पनि हुन्छ भन्ने हुन्छ. But it doesn't matter, right? Okay, what matters is we gave them that freedom to choose whatever they want. So they're topping it. They're doing very well, and they're happy. You know.
You made a post about it on Facebook as well, where like the Asian culture, like a lot of people come up and they're like, "Oh wow, your kids were so smart in school, and why aren't they like doctors, engineers, all of that?" But you're very content with them being musicians,
of
right?
course. Yeah.
I feel like you would just attract a lot of music. I know with Nirakar uncle as well in 1974-80. How did you meet Nirakar uncle? Because it's been a while.
How did I meet? I've just come 3 days back here. Rachana is my cousin and she told me, come, let's go to a wedding. त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ you will meet all our पुरानो साथीहरू भेट्छ भन्यो. So it was his brother's wedding के प्रभाकर दाईको wedding थियो. अनि त्यसमा then we met all our old friends. म आएको अस्ट्रेलिया भएको 2-3 दिन मात्र भएको थियो. And then I met him.
Okay.
Over there. He was very different. It was मैले त उसलाई त एकदम हावा थान्थेँ एकदम see my Harley Davidson, my kudi ke what a show off भने है. पछि then I met him New Road मा. He was buying microwave for his mom. Then again I met him sometimes.
Microwave?
For his mom.
For his
know?
mom, okay.
And then he was buying a cycle for his mom, you know, like exercise गर्ने. So I said, oh wow, very impressive. He loves his mom. See, I married that man because of that too.
Because he loves his mom.
Yeah, you know.
Did you know who Nirakar uncle was when you first met him, like 1970?
No, कहाँ थियो त्यति बेला त. यो त पछि नि. मेरो मैले Bold and Beautiful भन्ने बुटिक थियो के. And then I used to use them, their music. त्यति बेला को थियो भन न. Patrick. अनि हाम्रो Nawang, a very good friend of ours, we call him Richard Gere, and he's got a beautiful voice like a Bryan Adams, होइन. अनि साबु भन्ने थियो, and then Firoz थियो होला, because Firoz was हाम्रो ज्ञानोदय स्कुलमा टिचर हुनुहुन्थ्यो. अनि उनीहरू अनि लाइभमा
बजाउँथ्यो.
अनि मेरो कपडाको डिस्प्ले फेसन सो हुन्थ्यो त्यस्तो, you know. That's how. And then you know he's always interested in music, and even I grew up with musicians. You know, my dad plays all sorts of instruments: piano, देखिन लिएर harmonium, देखिन लिएर flute, देखिन लिएर harmonica, देखिन लिएर violin, सबै without reading, just by hearing notes.
Oh, wow.
My dad. So I grew up, and my brothers are openly they're into music. So I grew up listening to their music. And
what was, I think, now like going back, I know with your family, right? You talked about how you took care of your mother, and that's kind of how you built such a great family now. It's because you've always kind of been that caregiver, right?
Yes.
What was your initial relationship like with your family before it all started, before you went to the Philippines, before you filmed that YY commercial?
Oh, my family?
Yeah.
Before my mom passed away?
Yeah.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
The most amazing family we had, because it was so different, because मेरो mom was a very strong character lady, yeah. एकदमै woman of substance, you know, and she was little fashionable around that time, you know. Ani big inspiration. And then we used to, every evening, you know, we used to sit down, and the brothers, मेरो ठुलो दाइले चाहिँ कङ्गोहरू यस्तोहरू बजाउँथ्यो, you know. मेरो अर्को brother was also playing all these sort of instrument, my dad playing an instrument, and that sort of, and then I'm always a dancer. Huh? I always love to dance.
Yeah, I saw it on Friday, on Tuesday.
And then I was a Bharatnatyam classical dancer also in the school, you know, in school ma. Ani मेरो हाम्रो त्यस्तो किसिमको lifestyle थियो के.
You're very
Then
just
all of a sudden
fun
it all
family.
changed,
Yeah.
because my mom got sick.
Do you remember the day your mom got sick? Do you remember the day she got diagnosed?
She was actually always been very sick. And I think my dad had gone somewhere. He was not there. And then all of a sudden, she had been going to the hospital, but she was not telling us, ke? Look, okay?
Look.
You know? Ani doctor le bhanego रहेछ operation गर्नुपर्छ भनेर. She did not share this with anybody. अनि एक दिन त राति she screamed जाँदाखेरि त उहाँकोबाट एकदम धेरै bleeding. त्यो तर it's not bleeding from the genitals, it was bleeding from somewhere else, you know. A very smelly, stinky, you know. So that was the worst time of our
And your
life.
dad was out.
That was like, I think the tumor or something, it burst. You know, अहिले बुझ्दाखेरि चाहिँ that's what I think it is, होइन. अनि त्यो cancer फैलियो के.
Okay.
त्यसपछि त she was bedridden for 3 years.
3 years.
एक वर्ष चाहिँ she became okay. फेरि त्यो ट्रिटमेन्टहरू गर्दाखेरि किन मेरो ड्याडले भ्यालोर कता कता लानुभयो, इन्डिया लानुभयो.
Before we take it there, right? When that happened, right? Your dad was out of town, right? So the bleeding boy, your mom yelled, and then you guys rushed to the hospital, probably, right? The hospital waiting room, what kind of emotions were going through your head?
Actually, I don't remember.
You know?
I think I've shut it down. I don't remember anything. I only remember the time burst, त्यस्तो भयो, गनायो. That's it. After that, I don't remember anything. After that, I don't even remember when my dad came back. मेरो बाबा कहिले आउनु भयो अनि इन्डिया लानु भयो, because I remember इन्डियामा लाँदाखेरि चाहिँ she begged doctorsहरूलाई, please save me. I have 5 children. Please, I need to live. I can't. I don't want to die. That's what I remember hearing. After that, she was home. 1 year summer treatment भयो. Then she became okay. You know, I only thing that I remember is she's sitting down out in the sun and knitting. त्यो मात्रै आउँछ मलाई. एकदम उज्यालो अनुहार अनि knitting. She was स्वेटरहरू बुनिराख्नु भएको थियो, you know. त्यसपछि again उहाँको health again it went down.
What was it like taking care of your sick mother, like at such a young age, and having to deal with that kind of trauma? Because I think everybody goes through this kind of trauma in life, whether you're losing someone you love, right? But usually it happens later on in life, right? Losing grandparents is like, it's a really traumatic, but it's not the same as losing your own mother, right? Who has been there for pretty much the entire life. And I think a lot of people are going to deal with that. It's inevitable. But they deal with it when they're older, right? They take care of their sick parents when they're older and they're more mature. They have a job. They have a life. They have more to live for, right?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that kind of trauma, though, at such a young age when your life hasn't even gotten started? The YY commercials, the Philippines, none of that was even in the picture, right?
I was your age, होइन मानव. I was your age 16 होला, तिमी 17 अहिले. 15, 16 बाट सुरु भयो. 15 बाट सुरु भएको होला. I was studying in modern Indian school. I used to walk to my school from my house. I used to live in Sanepa, very close by. But I had to do all the housework. What my mom used to do, now it was, being a girl, मेरो बहिनी मभन्दा निकै सानो, 8 वर्ष सानो. So I had to cook, wash dishes, clean up the house, do everything that needs to be done. And usually it's the mother. And I was always sometimes helping her, cutting, chopping, this and that. मैले गर्थेँ, help गर्थेँ. अब त सबै मेरो माथि.
Yeah.
And then 3 men, brothers, but I don't think they were helpful. At that time, they were not taught. Like my children knows how to cook, how to clean, how to do everything. My kids knows. Boys, 2 boys and girl. They know everything. I guess त्यति बेला मेरो momले सिकाएन. So they were not there to help me. So I did everything and I had to go to school. Homework submit गर्न सक्दिन थिए. Exam मा fail हुन्थे. I know what I've been through. But I never complained. I never said, oh my God, I don't want to do this. I did it with my heart because I believed my mom's going to get up anytime. She's going to get up and everything will go back to normal.
Yeah, this is just a period.
Yeah, but it never happened.
It never happened.
Never happened.
When did that belief stop? Because I remember
After
when I was...
she died.
You had that belief.
I was shocked when the day she
belief.
passed away. Yeah. After it was a shocking thing for me. Although everybody say, oh, bichara, anytime. भन्थे मैले के भनेको यो मान्छेहरु भनेर रिस उठ्थ्यो मलाई गएर यसरी कोपरदिनु मन लाग्थ्यो मलाई के भनेको भनेर.
Because I feel like when people experience, they say, oh, bichara, like I feel bad for you, but they don't understand, and they're just saying that because it's a formality or like भन्नु पर्ने हो, but they don't truly understand what
exactly
you've been through, and for them to say, oh, I feel bad, it's like you can't just throw that around because you don't know what it was actually like. How did your relationship with your family and the whole family dynamics change after your mother passed away?
Actually, I don't really remember because eventually I just left, no?
Yeah.
I did that ad thing. It just happened. I did that ad after a year or a few months. I don't even remember. I never think about it. I don't know. And then immediately I left after that. I got a chance to make this joint venture movie, the Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Nepali, Sri Lankan. At that time, that was joint venture one thing. So I, in fact, quite a lot of people have seen that movie and they always tell me in Pakistan, oh, I've seen you in that movie. It was so good. I was like the main actress को चाहिँ बहिनीको रोल क्या गर्नुपर्ने, you know.
What has been like your top highlight the acting career, man? Because you've done sitcoms, you've done these movies, and
it was fun. I loved it because I did that movie, but that त्यो पनि without यो ad गरे जस्तै वाइदा ad जस्तै केही न थाहा पाएन यतिकै गर्दिएको के, like you know, I don't know whether I was a good actress, whether I was not, you know. And then I did this के भन्छ यो ad जुन गरे, commercial जुन गरे, that was very, very good for me because I enjoyed it. You know, they were very particular. एउटा ad गर्नलाई days लाग्थ्यो, एउटा ad, you know. So they were very professional and I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it, yeah.
Do you see yourself doing modeling again anytime soon?
I mean, I'm nearing 60. I don't think so.
No. In terms of like taking care of your mother, right? Then you now have 3 children and you take care of them, right? What is that transition like? From being a young person taking care of your sick mother to being this mature person that's been through life and then raising kids.
Oh my God, that was the most beautiful thing, was having my first child.
Yeah.
And son, my mother-in-law wanted a son. I said, okay, let me have son. I had a son. Then I wanted for myself a daughter, you know. Then I had a daughter. Oh, that was ultimate, you know. Finished. Aba sakyo. Again, I just somehow wanted to have my little one too. And then बुढेसकालमा almost 40 पुगे थिए. मेरो सानो पनि भयो. अहिले हुर्की पनि सक्यो हैन. He's 20 years old. But I think I was a very, very, I think मेरो mom was a strict mom के. अनि त्यो हुँदो रहेछ के, यो नखाऊ, त्यो नगर, यो भएन, त्यो I was a very strict mom के. मेरो छोराछोरीलाई टाइममा सुताउनु पर्ने, टाइममा खिलाउनु पर्ने, कहीँ पार्टी लगेर गएन मैले, म आफै पनि गएन, बरु मेरो husband would be out most of the time, उसको कामै त्यस्तो. So I never followed him. If I had followed him, मेरो किड्सहरुको बेहाला हुन्थ्यो. I think I was a very good mother, but अहिले आएर मलाई अलिकति regret हुन्छ. I was too strict. अहिले म strict छैन है फेरि. अहिले we're like friends, we are best of friends. We talk about almost everything, you know. But त्यति बेला चाहिँ when, you know, like यो भएन, त्यो भएन, यो नगर्ने, त्यो नगर्ने, यो नखाने, एकदम particular about food.
Yeah.
I would give them like really good food, good healthy food, not junk food and no frizzy drinks, nothing. So I think I was a very good mother, and when they were growing up, I was always there for my children.
Do you feel like being that kind of strict parent has its time? Like, do you think that is necessary, or do you regret that part?
I don't really regret, but I'm not really proud of myself too, because my mother-in-law says, मेरो ठुलो छोरा गेटबाट पस्दाखेरि रुँदै आउँथ्यो अरे, किनभने उसले वाटर बोटल छोड्यो भनेर रुन्थ्यो अरे, स्कुलमा वाटर बोटल एक दुईचोटि छोड्यो होला, रुन्थ्यो, अब मामाले गाली गर्छन्। म त्यस्तो पर्टिकुलर कि अहिले पनि त्यस्तै छु के, अब यो सामान यहाँ चाहिँ यहीँ हुनुपर्छ, सो रुँदै आउँथ्यो अरे के, होइन? सो गर्दाखेरि आई फिल ब्याड। इट्स एक किसिमको ट्रमा भयो नि त त्यो बच्चालाई। मैले त्यति बेला त्यो सोचिनँ नि, मैले त्यति बेला मेरो छोरालाई मैले स्ट्रिक्ट बनाउनु छ, मेरो छोरालाई मैले स्ट्रिक्ट गरेर डिसिप्लिनमा राख्नुपर्छ भन्नेतिर मात्र लागेँ कि मैले त्यसको के हुन्छ भन्ने सोचिनँ के। अहिले सोच्दाखेरि मलाई त मनमा चुस्सो हुन्छ।
But the fact that you recognize that, then you transitioned as they get older,
as they get older, of course, yeah.
Then you give them that freedom to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
It's a complete opposite, right? How do you think your relationship with your kids have changed over time?
No, I always had very good relationship with them, although I was very strict, in my own way and all that. तर मजा धेरै गर्थेँ। हिजो पनि हाम्रो घरको कुक हुनुहुन्छ, लामा, हेम लामा. He's been cooking for us for so many years, and I am a good cook as well. I cook also, but most of the time he cooks. हिजो मात्रै पनि he was saying, oh my God, amount of time that you gave to your children was just amazing. That what you used to do every holiday, I'm out. हेर बाबु, म कहीँ जानु नसकेर पनि हाम्रोमा ठुलो कम्पाउन्ड छ, अन्त फुटबल फिल्डहरू छ, गएर फुटबल फिल्डमा गएर पिकनिक खाने के मेरो बच्चाहरूसँग। त्यति धेरै क्वालिटी टाइम दिन्थेँ कि मैले। Every single day I was out with them doing things. I would not do things that I want to do, go partying, meeting friends. No, I will not do that. I was 100%. My husband was busy. He never really gave time to the kids. Now they grew up. Now he's more very close to him. That's his part of the story. But I was always with my children. Every holiday, every time we would go away or najik, टाढो जहाँ भए पनि, कहीँ नजाने दिन भए पनि म घरकै आँगनमा पनि मेरो फुटबल फिल्ड भनौँ कि अरू त्यहाँ नजिकको मन्दिर भनौँ कि त्यति बेला देयर वाज क्वाइट लट अफ त्यो आज नेपाल बन्द चक्का जाम के थियो, त्यति बेला पनि हामी खोखानामा बस्छौँ नि त. सो वी वुड गो वकिङ विथ द ब्रेकफास्ट के प्याक गरेर. And we have this single hill tree भन्ने छ के, single tree छ अनि hill छ के. That was our famous place that we would sit down, and then enjoy our breakfast. Yeah. So these are the things that I did. So that made me very close to my children. We are very close. We share almost everything.
Because even though you were strict, it wasn't like you were just strict and then you left them. You just spent time with them. You actually showed that you cared about them in different ways. And I'm sure they know and they appreciate that.
म त थप्पड हान्थेँ नि, तर थप्पड हान्थेँ, तर thank God मैले रिसको झोकमा हान्दिनँ थिएँ कि. देखाउँथेँ I'm angry,
but you wouldn't hit with anger, but you would hit
with love, but like किन, type, that sort of a thing.
What do you think? What do you think, like if you were to think, because your kids are now out in the world and they become their own person, I only know Nishang Dai very well, and he's one of the best people I've ever met. And Jimai is always so sweet, super cool guy, right? What do you think the top highlight was of raising 3 kids? Do you think there's one memory that really stands out?
In a bad way?
Sure.
No, there was one incident, हाम्रो त्यति बेलाको जमानामा के थियो नि, टिभी त फ्ल्याट स्क्रिन थिएन नि, कत्रो ठुलो टिभी थियो नि, अनि मेरो सासूले ठुलो अनि मेरो सासूले ठुलो टिभी किनिदिएर दिनुभएको थियो निराकरको ब्रतमा हो कि हाम्रो एनिभर्सरीमा के उहाँले दिनुभएको थियो. अनि I was in the toilet, I was taking shower होला, and I could and then I think मेरो छोरालाई हेर्ने maid my Juna, त्यति बेला Juna बहिनी, she's such a beautiful girl, I'm still in touch with her. I am educating her child because she raised my 3 children, and I think she had just gone out, or She was not there. Niranta was maybe 4-5 years old होला. त्यहाँ माथि टेबलमा झरेछ. त्यो टेबल अलिकति लेभल मिले थिएन कि त्यो टिभी झरेछ. तर अहिले सोच्दाखेरि मेरो आङ झिरिङ हुन्छ. त्यो टिभी तल यत्रो हेभी टिभी यत्रो मोटो पछाडि होइन अगाडि यत्रो पछाडि यत्रो मोटो के हुन्छ त्यो थिचेको भए. When I found out, I came out from the toilet, that I found that I started chasing him because I wanted to hit him, not because of anger, something that I couldn't control, like, why did you do that type ko hola ke hola त्यो सोच्दाखेरि मलाई यस्तो हुन्छ. I should have just hold my son त्यति बेला and pat him, but he ran away from me क्या. And he ran away. And हामी धेरै ठुलो कम्पाउन्ड छ कि माथि गएर उता अनि यस्तरी मलाई सोच्दै हेरिरहेको थिएँ कि मैले यो चिज मैले कुरा गरिसकेँ मेरो बच्चाहरूसँग. तर sometimes I still want to talk to them and tell them I should have just hold him and said I'm sorry, thank God you're fine. Actually I wanted to do that, but मेरो त्यो negative way मा निस्क्यो because I was so afraid.
It came out in fear instead of love.
So that I can never forget that incident. But there are so many beautiful incidents. There are so many beautiful things that I've done with my children, but there's one or two incidents I think and it makes me feel useless as a mother.
The most difficult part of anybody is to have regret, right? I think having regret is natural. But holding on to that regret can really break someone, right?
Yeah.
With you've gone through a lot in life, right? You probably have certain regrets, right? But you still live life to the fullest, right?
That's definitely.
And I think a part of that is because you regret things, but you learn from them instead of holding on to them, right? How do you let those regrets go? Be like, I messed up, yo boy na, tara, let's just move on, khalko. How do you move on from that?
I move on and I've moved on and I continue moving forward, not looking back. I'm that kind of a person, I know. There's actually, when I think about it, there's not much regret भन्ने छैन मेरो लाइफमा. मैले त्यस्तो केही गरेकै पनि छुइनँ जस्तो लाग्छ, except for raising my children. One or two things that I regret about is being too strict with my children, and just I told you about this. And yes, also sometimes out of anger, I tend to say things that hurt people. Those are I regret about those because but I have anger in me sometimes, and that anger is getting better, but sometimes I do get angry,
And I think we talked about this earlier, but I think when people meet you for the first time, they might think, hey, if they see you get angry for the first time, hey, like she's just someone that gets very angry, blah, blah. But people need to realize that comes from such a deeper, more traumatic place, right? And I think that's what I'm really talking to you is when people get angry, it's not just... It's more complicated than they're just pissed off in that moment. It comes out because of so many different things that are layered on within, right? What kind of fulfillment do you feel though now that your children have gone into the world, right? Is that fulfillment different to how you took care of your mother?
Yes, of course, how I took care of my mother, and then my mother never became okay. She was always been sick and she passed away. And that's the saddest part, and that's the part that I sometimes think about it and makes me feel bad that she's not around, But then I've moved on, and but raising my children, and everybody praises my kids, and I love that because I don't want my children... रातो बङ्गला स्कुल पढ्यो मेरो 3जना बच्चाहरू. अहिलेसम्म अब रातो बङ्गलाले सुन्छ कहिले पनि उहाँहरूले कसैले मेरो बच्चाहरूको कम्प्लेन गर्नु परेन कि. I never had to go back. I'm not saying it's the great thing. I'm just proud of my children. They never did anything,
wrong.
Yeah, wrong. I'm not saying wrong. I'm sure they did it. But त्यस्तो केही पनि गरेन. कहिले पनि म जानु परेन कि स्कुलमा यस्तो भयो. Yeah, please come. Or, your kid did this or that. भनेर कहिले पनि सुन्नु परेन. So and one thing about my children is I have raised my kids so well. I'm so proud of them. I never had to look for them at night. Never had to wonder where my son is partying, what he's doing, where he is. Usko mobile off cha yo thyo. Mala kaile pani bhanchan teenagers हरूलाई to bring up is so difficult bhancha. I am not lying, Manav. I never had to go through that until now.
Until now.
Never with my 3 children.
What do you, because people say that teenage is the hardest, or whether the youngest part where they're like a few months old is the hardest. What was the hardest part for you? Like, which phase was the hardest?
None.
You
will not believe a lot of mothers who complain गर्छ भर्खर पाएको बच्चा पाएर म सुतेकै छुइनँ. I never had that problem. डक्टरले भन्थ्यो एक घन्टामा खिलाउनु, मैले खिलाएन के. त्यही भएर म भन्दैछु नि, I was so organized के. रातिको विशेष गरी रातिको पल्ट I would wait till 12. मलाई अनि द नाइट किन होस् भनेर म बरु 12 सम्म पर्खेर बस्थेँ उसलाई लास्ट फिडिङ गर्नलाई. देन त्यो 12 मा फिड गरिसकेपछि सुताउँथेँ, मजाले खिलाउँथेँ दुध होइन. सुताउँथेँ म पनि क्रिप थियो होइन, सुताउँथेँ म पनि मजाले. यु नो व्हाट टाइम वी बोथ वुड गेट अप? 5 o'clock in the morning. So I never had a sleepless night. So मेरो बच्चाहरू एकदम सन्तोकी कि. मेरो साथी मरिया भन्ने छ क्या, she is African Ghanaian married to Swiss होइन. She used to tell me, Dolly, तिमी factory, you should have a factory for making babies. Because she has seen my kids होइन, कस्तो सन्तोकी के. अब यति बजी सुताउँ, अब बेलुका अलिक एकछिन बाहिर जानु छ या दिनमा बाहिर जानु छ, अलिक छिटो सुताउँ है आज दिनमा भन्यो, त्यसरी मिलाउनु पनि सक्ने के. कति सजिलो थियो कि. इट वाज सो इजी. सो द्याट इज हाउ आई रेज्ड माई किड्स. सो द सानोमा पनि आई नेभर ह्याड अ प्रब्लम. भेरी सन्तोकी. मेरो बच्चाहरू कहिले रुनु परेन, रुएको सुन्नु परेन होइन. त्यो याङ याङ रुन्छ नि कोही बेला बच्चाहरू. इट वाज नेभर लाइक द्याट. एन्ड देन अब टिनेजर भयो अनि अब खाली रुने भनेको when they left the nest के. And then त्यति बेला चाहिँ it's like त्यो पनि used to that was very bad.
That was the hardest part. Yeah.
And the hardest part even now is like sometimes I worry about them, but like I said, I ask universe. Today is a very beautiful day to manifest. So my manifestation is all about this, taking care of my children. I'm not there, you know. So this is what, you know, I leave it to God and I leave it to the universe. He will take care. I'm not going to worry about what they must be doing. Oh, kahan gayo hola, kele haanyo hola, kele garyo hola. You know, त्यो सोच्यो भने त life will be so miserable.
Like that will always happen. But if you just worry about everything, then you're cheating yourself.
Yeah, your mom let you go. You're so young.
Yeah.
But look at her, she's so happy.
Yeah.
You know, Bahar is so happy. I see her all the time. You know, and then that's how it is. That's how mother's love is, you know.
Yeah. Then I think later on in life, right, on your 50th birthday, you unfortunately got diagnosed with cancer, right? And as a mother of 3, and then you've taken care of these 3 people, and you get diagnosed with cancer, and clearly you care a lot about your family. You're a big family person, right? And when you get sick like that and you can't be there for your family fully the way you want to be, right? It can be very challenging, right? But do you remember the initial, like when you diagnosed and when you found out that you had cancer?
You know, hamra family ma, it's genetic to have a colon cancer. So I was always prepared, no matter how careful I am, what I eat, always careful, always prepared. Anytime it can happen, which is actually bad.
Yeah.
When you think about it now, these are negative things, हैन. मैले के भन्थे भने मेरो मम 42 मा बित्यो, I think म पनि 42 मा बित्यो.
No, that mentality
I had, and I used to, when I'm angry, I used to say, I think I'm gonna die. तर because of my lifestyle and all that, I was totally quite disciplined पहिलादेखि नै. मेरो 50th birthday ma I had gone to climb Everest region, okay?
Okay. Like base camp or fully to the top?
I did a Ranzola pass. There's 3 passes, no? And when I was doing that pass after the Gokyo and all that, something was not right. That 7-8 hours took me 9-12 hours to climb, okay? The pass garnalai. It was 15 days ko trek थियो. And then I think मेरो urine infection पनि भयो त्यति बेला.
Urine infection?
Problem भयो मलाई. जे होस्, but somehow 15 days को trek मैले सकाएँ.
Wow, okay.
Then I came back. Then I went for a test. मेरो hemoglobin was so low. I would have died up in the mountain. So I see one thing about just before that. Let me tell you one thing. I always felt my mom, you know, तिम्रो टाउको ल्याउ त यहाँ. यसरी bless गर्नुहुन्थ्यो मेरो momले. You know what, Manav? Because of her hand on my head, I am not afraid. If you tell me to jump from there, I will jump.
Because
I'm
you have
not
that
afraid
faith.
because
you
I
have that
feel
faith. Yeah.
she always guided me. No matter how alone I was, nobody ever in my life took advantage of me. Nobody. Not a man, not a woman, no monsters, no nothing. So that is how powerful her blessing was. Her blessing, मेरो birthday को कति दिन पछि she passed away. I was born in November 11, then she passed away. After Indira Gandhi बितेको 2-3 दिनमा, she passed away. So her blessing is always there. So म फर्केर आएँ, मेरो hemoglobin was maybe around 9-10. That was very, very, or 8, very less hemoglobin. Doctor said, कसरी उते गर्यो, कसरी हिँड्यो, anything could have happened, no? So I survived. I came, and then यहाँ पनि needle हालिदिएको थियो. सञ्जयको wife Susan छ नि, Susan Sellers. अनि फेरि म घरमा trouble दिदिनँ, कसैलाई पनि भन्दिनँ के. I'm going for test. So I was doing all this without.
So you do what your mom was doing basically, होइन? तँले आमाले गरेको जस्तै भयो.
So I did everything on my own. यहाँ पनि Susan said, do you want me to come with you? भनेर Susan आयो मसँग त्यो टेस्ट गर्नेमा, यत्रो ठुलो निडल. यहाँ के भेट्टा थियो, किडनीमा के भेट्टा, के भेट्टायो, होइन? अनि मैले त्यो कोलोनको चाहिँ राखिरहेको थिएँ. Let's see भनेर अरू टेस्ट गरेको थिएँ. Then I went to Dr. Neeraj Joshi, and then he saw it right away when he did colonoscopy. Okay, there is something there. So the day I was diagnosed, my husband was there with me. And then he said, we have to take care of it. अब क्यान्सर हस्पिटल जानु पर्यो. अब त्यहाँ ट्युमर छ. अब कतिको त्यो छ, के छ, अब थाहा छैन, तर इट्स मेलिग्नेन्ट, इट्स क्यान्सर भनेर थाहा पाइसक्यो. अनि that day, that night, my husband says that he was looking at me there. I was fast asleep. घर घोरेर सुतिरहेको छ अरे. अनि उसले मलाई हेऱ्यो अरे. अनि उसले सोच्यो अरे आफूलाई, म चाहिँ किन नसुतेको, क्यान्सर त मलाई होइन, उसलाई भएको छ. How come she's sleeping so peacefully, and look at me. So that's the kind of a person I am. क्या worry भरेर गएर के मलाई त झन् खत्तम पार्छ नि. अब I have to do what I have to do.
And I feel like, I feel like from my perspective, when I hear you speak, like, you've been through so much in life that like you've learned to just do, not to dwell on it, not to care about it, but to just do what needs to be done. And I'm like, because worrying at the end of the day, yes, it'll get you to do stuff, but worrying excessively doesn't help anyone.
No.
And you've learned how to just push through.
I live for the moment. I live for now. For me, now is very, very important. Now, what we are doing, this is so important, and this is so beautiful. This day will never come back again.
Yeah, that's true.
म यहाँबाट गएपछि तिमी यहाँबाट गएपछि जे पनि हुन सक्छ. You don't know. So I live for the moment now. For me, this is very, very important, is now, अहिले. त्यसपछि अब सुते होला, म उठे होला, भोलिपल्ट म गएँ, डक्टर्सले टाइम दियो, अब अपरेसन गर्नु पर्यो, अपरेसन गर्यो, ट्युमर निकाल्यो, अब किमोथेरापी गर्नुपर्छ भन्यो, यो भन्यो. So what I did was, I didn't want my children to be always after me or worrying about me. I told them to go to school, go to college, study.
Did you tell them?
Yeah.
So how did
even
you?
my husband.
How did you break the news to them? I mean, you and Nirakaranga were there.
Did. Yeah.
Your husband did.
Yeah, my husband did. And they were heartbroken.
Yeah.
But because of looking at me, I never pretended I was sick.
You were always fighting.
I was always fighting. I was always there with them, and I was always joking. And मेरो हस्पिटलमा राख्दाखेरि पनि डक्टर्सहरू सबै यहाँ मैले फेरि हरिसिद्धिमै गरेँ यहीँको हस्पिटलमा, because I did my homework, good doctors, everything was there. And the most important thing is my willpower and my family. अब म इन्डिया जाऊ, थाइल्यान्ड जाऊ, अमेरिका जाऊ, युरोप जाऊ, गएर के गर्ने? त्यति बेला को हुन्थ्यो मसँग? Only मेरो husband. He would have been miserable. He won't be able to handle it. My husband is not the type to handle all these things, त्यस्तो टफ हुनुहुन्न, किनभने उसको mom always did everything for him. क्या अनि यहाँ अहिले उसको wife does everything for him. And it's मेरो husband बिचारा अहिले आएर he's become more stronger now. He can probably handle few things. He's very not very strong in that sense. के मेरो husband चाहिँ mentally त्यसमा चाहिँ सक्दैन के उसले भनेर म कहीँ गइनँ. यहीँ गरेँ. 12 साइकल किमो गर्दाखेरि पनि I did not trouble my children. I said, continue living your life. Even my husband, continue going for your work. And I would be okay. 2-3 days I would come home. 3 days ko chemo huन्थ्यो, and I come home. I was just sleep for 2 days. Then I'm up. I never used to put on makeup actually. Then I started putting on makeup and my hair and little
while trying to recover.
I just wanted to go out. I would drive, go out. That is how I crossed that 12 cycle chemo.
Okay.
You know,
That's how you cope with it.
I cope with it. And then towards the end, I even did a photo shoot.
Oh, wow.
Because of my emotions, you know, I wanted to capture that. And I came out with a coffee table, magazine.
Wow.
And I raised funds by it. I did inauguration, Dr. Zala Bola, felicitate gare. मैले आफै पनि sell gare. I raised quite a lot of money. I helped quite a lot of people. So this is what I did. And मेरो सक्यो. सकेपछि I wanted to go to Kerala and I wanted to go to Sadhguru. I did inner engineering. It was difficult. Chemo is not a joke.
No, of
Not
course
a joke.
not. Like,
so what I did was, I think I suppressed my emotions. के त्यति बेला? Because I wanted to be okay. Because I'm always okay, no? I'm always handling everybody, minding everyone. सबैलाई मैले सम्हालेर राख्ने मेरो त्यो क्यारेक्टर मैले सबलाई दिने. मैले कोहीबाट कसरी लिने बानी नै छैन के मेरो. हैन?
you got to do it on your own.
own भन्ने अनि मैले मेरो बच्चाहरूलाई पनि सम्हालेर गएँ मेरो छोरीसँग I did that. Then I said, okay, I'm going to go to Brunei because my sister lives in Brunei.
This is after you recovered.
Yeah. I will live there for a few months and I come back भने तर त्यो few months was tough for me. I kind of went into depression.
Okay.
Which people didn't know about it.
What do you think was the cause of that depression? Like, depression can be very complicated, but I think there's a certain event or something that flips that switch.
The chemotherapy which I was doing, and I was ignoring, I was being so like trying to say, I'm strong, I can handle it. You know, I was never worried I'm going to die. It's the worry. त्यो पनि थिएन हैन तर के हो त्यो केमिकल इम्ब्यालेन्स भयो के भयो मेरो हस्बेन्डहरु म ब्रुनाईबाट यता आए न्यू इयरमा हामी 2017-18 को न्यू इयर्स होला that we supposed to meet in Thailand. And then we met. Then त्यति बेला मेरो हस्बेन्ड रियलाइज के I was not being myself. I was always tolairane.
I think with depression, right, it can feel like you're very alone, right? No matter who you surround yourself with, no matter how many people love you, you feel like you're alone in the dark hole and nobody really understands, you know? But then to recover from depression, yes, there's like medication, yes, there's like therapy, right? But there's always you, right? You had to fight. You had to get out of that hole. You had to start seeing the light again, right? How was that process from recovering from depression? Because it's not as simple as taking medication or like भनेको जस्तै हैन टाउको दुख्यो प्यारासिटामोल खाने I'm fine, let's go out, let's put on makeup, wear our heels, start driving, right? It's a bit more complicated than that. What made you continue to like fight, try and see the light, try and get better?
I did go to the psychologist for a while, you know, and then I think COVID ko time pani थियो कि त्यति बेला के थियो COVID को time हो 18-19
before COVID.
त्यस्तो बेला I don't know. And then I medication त खाएन मैले अनि lot of breathing and lot of exercise that I do and all these things kind of helped me. And my children, of course.
When after you recover from cancer, then you go straight into depression.
Not then straight. After my cancer treatment, chemo, then I knew I have to do something. So as soon as the chemo was over, I went to India with my daughter. So we went to Kerala for a short holiday. Then we went to Sadhguru. I took her also with me. She was not really prepared for it, but I said, come.
How old is she?
She was what? That was now 8 years ago. She's 26 now.
So like 18.
And then I dropped her back in Kathmandu अनि त्यसपछि म गएँ Brunei, thinking Brunei ma swachha vatabaran and really nice, which is actually true. So pollution free and all that chemo ko toxin त मैले निकाल्नु पर्यो नि हैन म त एकदमै हेल्दी खाने यो गर्ने सना गरेर कसरी हुन्छ त्यो निकाल्ने मेडिटेसन गर्ने त्यति लाग्थे गर्थे होइन all that हुन्छ नि I used to play a lot of sound healing पनि गर्थे आफै I used to play those singing bowlहरू अनि मलाई गर्नु मन लाग्थ्यो vibration ल्याउँथ्यो मेरो शरीरमा कसरी हुन्छ but somehow still ब्रुनाईमा अलिकति म मेरो बहिनी बिजी थियो मेरो ज्वाइँ पनि बिजी थियो so न family बिजी थियो so म I think most of the time alone हुन्थेँ म walkingsहरू जान्थेँ होइन quite a lot of walkingहरू गर्थेँ तर यो सबै गर्दा गर्दै पनि I went into a little bit of depression okay अनि then I came to Thailand to meet my family to celebrate New Year then it was not that good either so and I came back and I realized I needed help so I got help and then immediately I came out of it I came out of it
okay and then once you come out of stuff like that I feel like how you see the world can be very different and like especially when you go through something like depression, right? Or something like cancer, where you thought you were gonna survive, but in hindsight, like it's a very life or death kind of situation, right? And with depression, it can really change how you see the world, right? After going through all that, after you turned 50, right? How did your like perspective on the world change? Like, do you think you felt like you had a different purpose or?
Yeah, of course, there's quite a lot of changes, all that. But I've always been I was always a very human, okay? I'm overly sensitive, okay, Babu? I'm very sensitive. If you come to me and you look to me and I see you sad, I can feel your sadness, okay? That's why I'm full of emotions. That's why I get angry easily. But at the same time, the anger just anger, then I'm fine. Yeah. The anger will not prolong.
नेपालको वेदर नेपालको वेदर एकछिनमा 5 मिनेटको लागि पानी पर्छ
त्यस्तै किसिमको ओके तर मैले हेर्नेमा चाहिँ हेर्नु नै पर्यो हो भने इट्स नट द्याट मेड मी अ बेटर पर्सन बट इट मेड मी अ पर्सन इट मेड मी इभन स्ट्रङ्गर that sensitiveness jun thyo mero I'm a very if you do something to me if you hurt me I get hurt so easily why did he do that to me why she said that to me malai एकदम अनि तर अहिले चाहिँ म त्यस्तो हर्ट भएर चाहिँ बस्दिनँ के इन दैट उसमा चाहिँ म अलिकति केही मात्रामा चेन्ज चाहिँ भएको छु के
What do you think through all that process do you think you learned anything about yourself like something you probably didn't know?
Did I ever? Okay. Yeah, I guess after going through my cancer, what I realized was life is very unpredictable. I know. Anything, anytime can happen. I'm here right now. I'm lucky. I'm blessed. And maybe it's got something to do with myself that I have done something that I am okay. But like I'm telling you, every time I mean, I always say, like people ask me, Dolly, तिमी त प्लेन चढ्न कस्तो डर आउँछ त अनि प्लेनमा चढ तिमी त जहिले नि चढिरहेको हुन्छ तिमी जहिले बाहिर गइरहेको हुन्छ भन्छ के You know how I prepare myself? I just say, if it's meant to be, अब म मेरो जानु नै दिन छ भने तिमी म यहीँ बसेर पनि यो छाना खस्यो अनि हामी मर्यो के हैन अर्थक्वेक आयो छाना खस्यो हामी मर्यो हैन that is how I see things क्या
okay
if it's my day it is my day हैन
but don't you think that's a very depressing way to live about life like because you're always thinking about
no I'm not always thinking about I'm just saying, how do I prepare myself? Because I'm afraid of flying. Tara, I fly. Okay. Reason I can fly.
It's just flying.
It's just that flying because anything can happen. If it's my day today, that it's my day to die. भनेपछि म यही बसेर पनि यो खसेर त मर्छ नि त हैन प्लेनै मात्र खसेर त मर्छ भन्ने छैन नि That is how I see things, that if it's my day, it's my day,
Man, you just like accept that, but and because of that, you kind of live life to the fullest in that moment.
I am actually afraid of flying. I am afraid of heights,
But then you climb Mount Everest.
त्यो किसिमको heights I'm not afraid of. I didn't climb Mount Everest. I wish I could climb Mount Everest. I love to climb. Yeah, I love mountains.
Have you gone there rock climbing or rock
climbing? I never did. No,
not something interested.
No.
Just gym, working out.
Working out, gym and dance and all that.
Did you? So then after all of this happened, it was kind of like your second rebirth, and you're not a different person, but you're a more enhanced person, right? And you kind of just take life by the moment, right?
Yes, so true.
After that, that's when you fell in love with plants, right?
Yeah, I was gonna tell you.
Let's talk about the plants, right?
Yeah, at COVID time, I always fell in love with plants. Yeah. I always loved plants, but I never had this thing like, oh, I need to collect plants. त्यो पागलपन चाहिँ थिएन के बुझेनौ अनि त्यो पागलपन चाहिँ त्यो कोभिडको टाइममा आई थिङ्क लट अफ पिपल गट द्याट बट दे लेफ्ट इट अल्सो होइन मैले चाहिँ के गरेँ म खास गरी मनासुलु गएको थिएँ त्यो कोभिडको बेलामा मनासुलु गएको थियो अनि हामी कति 3-4 दिन भएको थियो 3-4 दिन हुँदै अब भोलिदेखि लकडाउन भन्यो फेरि हामीले हेलिकप्टर बुक गरेर हेलिकप्टरमा घर आयो आएर आई बट बिकज आम फुडी आई बट लट अफ फुड एन्ड अल द्याट पुट in the fridge and then I would cook almost every day breakfast lunch dinner that was my way of
just
coping and thing. And then eventually then I started reading on plants and then this plant, that plant and plant ma mo purai bhijyo. I have more than 1,000-2,000 species of rare plants, mostly rare but other ordinary plants. I have a garden on top of my roof.
Wow.
It's a greenhouse. I have a garden in front of my house. I have a garden inside of my house. I have a garden in back of my house. So it's garden closed, greenhouse kisimle, where I can also sit in there, sip a coffee and talk and have a party, but full of plants.
What kind of... How do being surrounded by plants make you feel? Because choosing to sit in a greenhouse and have tea, I'm sure there's a reason for it. Oh
my God, you have no idea. I love nature. म नेचरदेखि चाहिँ मेरो त्यो पहिलादेखि नै थियो love for nature.
It's evident because even when Nishank and our kids, you used to take them and picnic बाहिर बसेर खाने हैन
त्यस्तै गर्थे हामीहरु. Exactly.
Do you think your kids also have that same connection with nature?
Yes, very much. That's why मेरो ठुलो छोरा is coming soon हैन अनि मैले माथि ग्रीन हाउस थियो अनि त्यो ग्रीन हाउस ठुलो थियो के सो मैले ग्रीन हाउसलाई हाफ गरेर यता र यता ग्रीन हाउस उता ग्रीन अगाडि ग्रीन बिचमा I made a Swiss cottage. I call it
this. Wow, okay.
So, and because I always tell Nirantara, I want to do this, I want to do that. Mama, that's such a great idea. Wow. And they were एकदम खुसी हुन्थे के हो अनि I just wanted to make him happy, and I did that. अनि यता मेरो छोरीको पनि रूममा I did the same. She has a beautiful room and then I redid it and then I opened a huge window and there where she can see another greenhouse there. Okay?
Oh, wow.
Right there, And मेरो सानो चाहिँ he always lived with my mother-in-law, okay? My mother-in-law को उसमै छ ऊ पनि he is a plant lover. माम उता नेदरल्यान्ड्समा पनि मलाई प्लान्टहरू किनेर दिनु मामा मलाई सिकाउनु भन्थ्यो छोरीले पनि त्यही गरे छोरीको पनि अपार्टमेन्टमा पुरा प्लान्टहरू लगाएर राखिदिए उसको त मोर कलेक्सन छ निरन्तरलाई गरे निरन्तर चाहिँ अब he is such a musician he wanted to keep his plants alive. He couldn't because most of the time he would lock his apartment and go, okay? He couldn't keep his plants happy or thriving.
How do you take care of 2,000 plus plants?
I have more than 2,000-3,000 plants everywhere. It's very easy. It's just suruma start garnu garo, okay, babu? It's like I've raised my children, 3 kids. People ask, how do you raise them? You don't need सानो मात्र रेस गर्ने हो त अब उनीहरुको त उतै भयो नि अब के गर्नै पर्दैन अब यो प्लान्ट्सहरु नि त्यही हो नि
अब त अटो पाइलटमा हो नि
autopilot, yes, and then you just put once in a while fertilizers and you make sure they're happy. You cut the leaves, you add fertilizer, you just water them once in a while. Indoor plants, so you don't even need to water every day.
Also, I'm sure everybody feels different when they're surrounded by plants. How do you feel though? plants are surround, like when you surround yourself with plants and you sit in that cottage and you're
I was away for a
sipping
holiday
tea.
just recently. Went to Europe, the family.
Yeah, I saw.
I came back. अनि त्यो माथिको घरमा त मैले भर्खर हालेको थिएँ नि त कति प्लान्ट म दुसी थानी गएको थिएँ दुसी थानीमा यस्तो मेटलमा यसरी वालमा राखेको थिएँ बिकज आई वान्टेड टु मेक मेरो छोराको ठाउँ अलिक प्राइभेट होइन त्योमा सबै मैले भर्खर रोपेर गएको फर्केर आउँदाखेरि त मानव आई वाज सो सक्ड एभ्रिथिङ्स गन बिग grown. That is like ultimate. And I'm like, and people don't give a shit what I'm saying. Everybody is like, oh, they get with you and laugh. They laugh too, because like she's too much into, I'm so much into it that, it gives me so much of happiness.
Yeah.
Nothing that's why my husband said, let's go to this resort, that resort. Mero ghare mero lagi resort, okay? And I have an amazing view. The mountain there,
Yeah.
Beautiful place. I don't want to go to any resorts, like here and pay money and go and we get the best food in my house. I can make the best food, I have the plants everywhere. The view is amazing. The house is beautiful because I built that house also on my own. Resort janai pardaina khas gari.
It's just seeing that growth, that development. It just gives you fulfillment.
Beautiful. And then I smuggle.
Smuggle?
When I'm traveling, suitcase, I always have plants.
You take like samples, cutting.
No cutting, I buy.
You buy.
I buy. But of course, sometimes I'm in certain people's house, they will tell you, oh, you want to take this, take it. So I will bring it. But I'm saying, yo Nepal ma, yo custom ma, दिदैन के plants ल्याउनु. So सबै मैले suitcase मा हाल्छु के. मेरो green box त्यो बोकिरा हुन्छु त्यो freezer box के भन्छ त्यसलाई. I bring in meat and all this frozen stuff also. Fish ल्याउँछु. त्यसमै प्लान्ट्सहरु पनि टन्नै हालेर अनि त्यो सुटकेस भित्र अब अहिलेको यो उसमा अब यस्तो बुढेसकालमा कति शपिङ गर्ने भने आई डोन्ट इभन शप टु मच एनीमोर आई जस्ट लाइक टु बाई प्लान्ट्स सो आई हेभ प्लान्ट्स द्याट कस्ट अ लट अल्सो
What is like your favorite plant? It doesn't have to be the rarest or the most expensive, but which one? Like
Anthurium family is my favorite. Not the anthurium that gives flowers. This is anthurium with the foliage. Okay, it's beautiful leaf. Okay, beautiful. And also monstera. Monstera Nepal ma dekhnu monstera त्यो हरियो हुन्छ या कुनै variegated हुन्छ but they have varieties of monstera के varieties family के एउटै को hundreds of them anthurium को पनि hundreds of them so these are very unique plants के
I think this has been a beautiful conversation and I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you had to go on a family holiday soon and just in an hour.
Thank you.
So, just to wrap up, I just have a few questions, right? How was, because you dealt with a lot of stuff in your life, right? It wasn't a plain straight road. It was windy, bumps. The road was broken at times, right? What has that taught you and how do you move that forward?
It's a very good question. Yeah, it's always a roller coaster ride until now. It's not smooth. Smooth छँदै छैन. Of course, perfect lifestyle छ. Everything is perfect. Family is there. Everything's there. It taught me to be how to be strong. Okay. How to make my mind strong and how to motivate myself. Okay? I need to motivate. It's not that you, him, her is going to motivate. I have to learn to motivate myself. Okay? That's the only thing I like to do is motivate myself. How to live, how to survive, what to do, how to be a great wife, how to be a great daughter-in-law, how to be a good mother, aunt, everything. Okay? And it's not easy, but somehow I manage.
Knowing, like seeing what you've learned, right? And knowing what you went through in life. If you were to go back to the that 17-year-old girl who is about to enter the YY shoot, right? And you just had like, you could just talk to her for a little bit. What would you tell her to just prepare her for what's ahead, for what you've experienced in your life?
If I was given a chance.
Yeah.
To myself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. I've never thought about it, but I would have, I have raised my 3 children again, and I've raised them saying, I've always told them never to lie. And my younger son also, a few days ago, he came to me and he said, Mama, that's one thing you taught me in life is never to lie. And I'm so grateful for that, because I hate liars. I don't even like white lies. Sometimes, you do white lies like my husband does, my mother-in-law does, not to hurt me or not to hurt anybody. I don't like that either. So, just being truthful to yourself, being honest, and just keep on moving forward.
Is there anything else you would like to talk about before we wrap up today?
No, nothing really much actually, but I'm really grateful that you gave me a chance to talk, but I don't know whether I was able to say what I have to say. Mero kura bujcha bujdaina, I don't know, but then this is coming from my heart.
From what's within.
Yeah, nothing add up. Kehi chaina. You sabai, everything is from my heart.
Okay. Dan, thank you so much for that.
Thank you,
not a lot of people are willing to do that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I really do appreciate it.
I really appreciate you.
And thank you, Dai, for staying here.
Thank you so much.
Vyasa Media Network.